Professor Erlendur Haraldsson of the University of Iceland, on his way to visit his best case. He has spent over a decade studying the possibility of reincarnation on this island. Haraldsson crosses half the island to meet with his most fascinating research subject, a girl by the name of Dilukshi.
This is a very interesting case because Dilukshi was talking about memories of a previous life for almost 3 years and doing so persistently and repeating the same story over and over again.
The little girl Haraldsson is about to meet shocked her parents when she said that she was not really their child. She claimed she had another mother and father elsewhere.
She was saying that she had lived in a place near Dun Bula, and there was a stream there. She had fallen into a stream and drowned.
On his way to investigate claims of reincarnation, Professor Haraldsson and his translator finally arrive at the home of Dilukshi Nissanka.
She first started speaking of her previous life when we took her to Montessori preschool. She also mentioned when we went to the temple that her temple was in a different place. And when we had our meals and went to bed at night, she would again mention her previous life.
In fact, I had become so irritated by what she was saying that I beat her once.
I felt very bad about all of this. Dilukshi was constantly speaking about her previous family. It felt as if she was condemning me for being a bad mother, for not looking after her properly.
Could she tell us what it is that she still remembers?
There was a footbridge across the stream near my house. People from the village would walk across the bridge and bathe in the stream. There was a rock near my house where I used to play shop with my friends. I have always felt that I don't belong in my present family. Their furniture and belongings are different from the family I remember. I remembered very clearly the clothes and goods of my previous family. From my earliest memories, I felt like an outsider, and that I must do whatever I could to find my real family.
Which means these memories are real to Dilukshi.
The day I died, I went to the stream to swim with a friend of mine. And then, somebody pushed me. I was in the water when I died.
This is how the story continued. Mr. Apipala, he learned about the case. He went and interviewed Dilukshi and the parents about what she had been saying about a previous life. It was then published a few days later. And this newspaper has a distribution all over the country.
Several weeks after the article was published, the mail arrives at the Nissanka home. When the postman handed Mr. Nissanka his mail that day, he was surprised to find one letter postmarked from Dun Bula. He had no friends or relatives in that part of the country. When he opened the letter, he was stunned.
I was very surprised to receive a letter by a Mr. Ranatunga. He lives in Dun Bula. I was stunned when I read that his little daughter had died just the way Dilukshi had always talked about. He talked about the river and the footbridge. His little girl was called Shorten.
Shiromi's father confirmed many of Dilukshi's statements, and he said he would like to meet her. The letter finally convinced Dilukshi's parents. They were going to take her to the place where she thinks she died. They took Dilukshi on a 6-hour drive to Dun Bula. When they came closer to the city, Dilukshi began to recognize landmarks. She even started to direct the driver toward the house where her previous family lived.
Shiromi was a very obedient girl who never left the house without informing us where she was going. She always left the house with her younger brother and her sister to swim or to play. And one day she just did not come back. I was so upset that Shiromi hadn't returned home that I ran about looking for her. When they found her in the water, I fainted upon hearing I'd lost my daughter. When Dilukshi was brought here, she was able to recognize us as her previous parents. She was also able to recognize her old belongings and the neighbours who lived nearby. All of this convinced me she was my child reborn.
I know I am that little girl over there in that picture. When I saw my previous parents and previous brother and sister, I felt very happy. It felt like I was finally returning home after a very long time away.
At the end of the day, Dilukshi takes Professor Haraldsson for a walk to show him the sights of her previous life.
When we compare how well these statements fit the life of Shiromi, we find that about 12 of them, and we have around 20, about 12 of them fit really well and are fairly specific.
Dilukshi leads Professor Haraldsson to the rock, where she claimed she played as little Shiromi. It is a flat rock formation, just as she had described. The footbridge over the little river is also there. And this is the spot where Shiromi fell into the water.
When I come to this particular spot, I become very afraid. In general, I am not afraid of water. But when I come to this spot, I get very scared.